This is Loresmyth's ultimate guide to remarkable inns and their drinks. It is a system-neutral book about 80 pages thick with remarkable inns and their drinks and a system to create your own inns, innkeepers, drinks, foods, everything to run a tavern or an inn in your campaign. This is Loresmyth's ultimate guide to remarkable shops and their wares. It goes off the same premise, but this time with remarkable shops and their wares. And instead of it being about 80 pages thick, this one is, if I'm not mistaken, about 112 pages thick. And it is again a system-neutral book that you can use to build remarkable shops, their wares, shopkeepers, customers, whatever. But now Loresmyth comes with Loresmyth's ultimate guide to remarkable cults and their followers. This one is about 180 pages of remarkable cults and their followers, a system for your players to run cults, a system for you as a dungeon master to create your own cult, 10 pre-written cults by a lot of really talented writers. It comes with amazing, ridiculously amazing art and layout, and it is the best book out of the trilogy so far, by far. Hi there fellow roleplayers and game masters. I'm gonna start off by saying the most important thing of this video, and that is if you want 10% discount off of anything from Loresmyth, like anything they sell on their web store, you should go to the link in the description below. You can select all our products, put them in your shopping basket, and when you go to the checkout page, it will calculate 10% discount for you. Loresmyth has contacted me, given me this link to put below this video, so make sure to support Loresmyth and save yourself a ton of money by going to the link in the description below. I also have a website, which is www.mrtarrasque.com, where I have a ton of discounts from different creators, virtual tabletops going on that website. You just click on the correct thing, use your promo code, whatever, and you get a tons of discounts and you can save tons of money by going to that website. Now let's talk about remarkable cults and their followers. Now Loresmyth for me has always been one of those companies that doesn't create a lot of books, but they stand for a certain amount of polish on their books. First of all, Loresmyth uses some of the best artists. Loresmyth uses some of the best writers in the scene. The layout of his books are so amazing, especially the last ones. If you remember, about a month ago, I did a review on Wondrous Expeditions. This is like one of the most beautiful laid out books that I've ever seen. Just like purely the layout. The art is good and the writing is good, but the layout itself, like how everything is placed within the book, it is just absolutely amazing. And with remarkable cults and their followers, it's exactly the same thing again. So with this video, I want to do a little bit of a different thing. I want to go over quickly what you get from this book by looking at the PDF. And I want to show you just like the system of creating your own cult with random rolling tables. So I'll be using the random rolling tables to create my own cult and see if it actually makes sense. Now before we go into the PDF, I want to quickly read the back of this book and tell you what you get, what they say you're getting from the 180 pages within this module. 10 pre-written cults with members, ranks, and quest hooks. There's way more than that. 10 full color cult strongholds maps. Yes, every cult can have like a stronghold, and the 10 pre-written cults in here all have their own stronghold, and it all comes with a full color, really good map. Over 60 devilish system-neutral magic item IDs. System-neutral magic item IDs, random generation tables for cult types, leaders, and more, and inspirational and easy-to-use role-playing IDs, and gameplay options for player-operated organizations. Let's just look at the PDF. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, Remarkable Cults and Their Followers, written by, as you can see, 3 famous people in the field, JVC Parry, kind of rings a bell, Jeff Lee, and R.P. Davis, 3 really famous writers, so you know it's going to be good. And this is not going to be a full review, because I've already reviewed the other books in this series, and including even like the Wondrous Expeditions one, which all have kind of the same build-up. So if you want to know that more into detail, make sure to check out those videos. I just want to show you some cool stuff stuff you get from this book. So the first section that's really important is the Remarkable Cults section, which are 10 pre-written cults with their own lore, their own leaders, their own rules, their own stuff they can do for people or stuff they want to take away from people, their own beliefs, their own systems. Everything is in there, and it is just ridiculously well written and well built. I'm going to just go down and give you an example. First, they go off, they talk about like what the book kind of is and how good and evil are more like loose ideas, and we don't need to separate them. And sometimes you can do evil to do good, and sometimes you can do good to do evil. All that stuff. They talk about that and on how to use this book, and they go into like there's the Remarkable Cult section, there is the Bringing Your Cults to Life section, the Creating Your Own Cults section, Player Operated Cults section, Creating Infernal Items, there is Vile Artifacts, and Headquarters Maps. The Remarkable Cults are really, look at this art, I mean, wow. So I'm just gonna show you what they do. In every book from this series, they have like this little, I call it a stat block for the cult. They have it for an inn, they have it for a shop, they have it for an expedition. They all have like their own stats. For example, there is this cult, the Justicars, if that's the correct way to pronounce it. They give like, at first they give points out of 5 for the wealth, the resources, the defense, and the influence. As you can see, this cult is not extremely wealthy, but they're also not poor. They have 3 stars, like 3 circles, 3 coins out of 5 coins. They have a ton of resources. They have kind of low defenses, like not really high defenses, but they're also not like being pushed around or whatever. But they have a ton of influence. These guys, by the way, they believe in like justice and honor through strength, and they want everybody who is like corrupt and goes against like this honor code they have, they put them in like a trial to the death kind of scenario, and the crowd cheers them on, and if they die, they stop ruling, of course, and if they survive, they get this mark on their hand that they survived that trial. And the people who do this are completely anonymous, because they use these really weird masks and suits in order to stay anonymous and in order to do these trials. It's a really, really cool thing, but I'm just gonna scroll through another one because I really like this one, the Dreamweavers. The Dreamweavers are not poor, they're not rich. They have low resources, but that's because they are a traveling circus kind of thing with acts and entertainers and singers, so they don't like really use it. It's like van life, right? People in vans don't have a lot of stuff, so yeah, they don't have a lot of resources. Their defenses are really low, but again, they don't really have like a homestead or anything, so they don't really need defenses. But they also have a lot of influence, and they also go into the services. The services are, in this case, dream crafting and magical boons. That's what this cult can do for people. They don't favor fighters, barbarians, dwarfs, it's kind of racist, and law enforcement. So they're not for, they don't like strength and robustness or whatever. They're more into favored warlocks, sorcerer, bards, performers, and tieflings. So this is like a traveling kind of entertainer show, right? So what they do is they give the entire lore. They give some like flavor text here from a witness. Then there's an entire piece of lore. Then there is even like a cult leader who is an elf, who is 134 years old, specialty performance, mind control, all that jazz. They get their own stats, they get their own lore, they get their own things they can do. This is all system neutral, by the way. Everything in here is 90% system neutral. Every now and then they kind of hint towards 5th edition, but you can use it in Pathfinder, you can use it in 1D&D, you can use it in whatever, Star Wars, I don't know, wherever you want to use it. They give you, they go into the ranks. Look at this layout, just how Chris does it, right? A few things you can hire these people for is really cool. For 5,000 up to 10,000 gold pieces, these people will put on a one-time show with you as the leading character. Not like you, particularly you playing the leading character. No, somebody is playing you as the leading character. For example, you defeated the Hydra and you want everybody to know you defeated the Hydra, because if you do this through this enormously cool entertainment, then people and nobles and everybody will know the kind of hero you are, and you will get the best jobs, the best accommodations, the best food, everything. So you can buy this performance, this one-time performance in their grand circus or whatever, in order to, and they will talk about you and they will hype you up to their audience, which is really cool. It's I think the idea of this is really cool to implement in a game. There's also the dream crafting, which can have two effects. They can kind of like have people have nightmares and go completely crazy, but they also can give people like really good dreams and everything, which gives them those people positive boons. So this is really used to lift up your allies or yourself, or to like really mentally destroy your enemies. Last thing you can get is the boon of the Somnia, and the boon of the Somnia is only for people like who are part of this cult, who are part of this cult, who are within the ranks of this cult. And there's an entire list of boons you can actually get. If I zoom in here, we might be able to read it. So, for example, the recipient's face becomes so entrancingly beautiful that they may cause up to one person at a time to fall in love with them. That's like a boon you can get from being a part of this cult, which I really absolutely like. I really like how this cult has been written, and there is 10 of these. All of these cults are completely different and super absolutely well written, with like the lore, a cult leader, stuff the people can buy or gain from this cult, or people who join this cult can gain even more. And I really like that there's 10 of these that you can just drag and drop into your campaign regardless of the system that you're playing. So let's create our own cults. Now there's an entire section on bringing your own cults to life if you've already like built a cult, or you have a cult that you use from the book, how to bring it alive into your game. There's also an entire section on players running a cult. But for the 10 cults that are in here and this system for creating your own cults, the book is already worth its value. So I just want to dig in here and like randomly, like 90% randomly generate our own cult from this system, so to really test out if the system actually works and makes sense. So I have a dice roller on my screen here, but I cannot show it to you because a third screen in my open broadcasting software will destroy my laptop and smoke will come out and everything. So you'll have to take my word for it. Creating your own cults. Let's get into it. First of all, they talk about how you can approach your own cult in like the vision your cult has. They give an accepted point of view by the public, and then they give an alternate point of view for you as just an idea. For example, violence should be the last resort. If your cult doesn't believe that, they believe something else, a good way to word that is, violence is the tool of the strong and the brave. Only the weak fear it. So that's a way for them to tell you, like, don't just do the exact opposites. Just don't say violence should be the first resort instead of saying last resort. Say it in a different way, and they just give a few examples like accepted points of view. Truth and honesty are virtuous. Instead, you can say honesty can be discarded to achieve greater aims, which is the other way of saying I don't agree with the first point, right? So that's really cool to give you like that idea of how to look at a cult, because a cult always goes from a strong belief that isn't necessarily accepted by the general audience. That's for me a cult, right? So we're just going to roll and then see what we get, and we're just going to roll with it and try to create something that makes sense. I'm rolling my random rolling thing, which is a 3, which is a religious order. Okay, we're doing a religious order, and as you can see, they give like all of the mage, druidic circle, all of that stuff. They give a little description of that religious order. Religious orders can be some of the most insidious cults of all, since they usually operate in public and gain followers in a similar manner to other faiths. Some, however, are secretive and exclusive, preferring to carry out their worship and rites away from the public eye. A dark religion or religion order almost always worships a deity, but it may be an infernal being, a god of death and destruction, or a twisted demigod. Really interesting. Okay, so we have a religious order. Let's say our religious order believes in the sea goddess Alvaroth. The reason for this is Alvaroth is a goddess that I created for my own adventure, which is for sale on the Dungeon Masters Guild, by the way. Drive-thru-RPG, by the way, link in the description below. And Alvaroth is an evil sea goddess who does evil acts. But there is a cult in that book. Like, the entire adventure goes over, like, this cult of Alvaroth. So, yeah, really makes sense to, let's just say that this is the cult of Alvaroth. They believe in Alvaroth and they want to do her bidding. So now we're going to look at typical wealth level. So we can roll for this, but I'm just going to take the middle. Let's say they aren't rich and they aren't poor. Let's just give them 3 coins. That means I have to roll 2d4 in order to know how many common buildings we have. So that is 2d4. That is a 2. So we have 2 common buildings. And then a 1d4. Is that plus 1? 1d plus... a 1d2. So I'll just divide this 1. Okay, it's a 1 stronghold. And what did I say? 2 number of common buildings. So that's what you do. So that's how they create this. So now we have it's probably not going to be the biggest cult because we only have 2 common buildings and 1 stronghold, and we aren't really rich, so we're an up-and-coming guild cult. But that makes sense with a sea goddess as Alvaroth, who is like more of a secretive god who just does evil things and spawns evil creatures in the sea. Let's just roll for this one. Common buildings. Okay, let's just roll for common buildings, which is an 8. I have a graveyard. Provides easy means of body disposal and access to corpses for necromancy. Interesting. I had 2, right? An inn. Provides rations and alcohol as well as recruitment and rumor gathering opportunities. Okay, my priests like to drink alcohol. And we can offer people who killed somebody to get rid of the bodies in exchange for money, gold, other favors. So it's really cool. We are an evil cult who follow Alvaroth, and we can offer people to get rid of bodies they killed. We have a graveyard for that. But we just put them in the sea, probably. And what did I say? And then we just drink a lot of alcohol while doing so, because we need to be really wicked crazy in order to follow Alvaroth. We also are going to be having a stronghold. Which D12, right? Yeah, D12. A 6, right in the middle. Docks provides access to ships of all kinds of free ship repair. This actually makes sense. This makes sense. We are the followers of an evil sea goddess. Our stronghold is near the docks. We have a lot of ships that we can use to get rid of bodies because we dumped them in the sea. Nobody's ever heard of them again. We drink a lot of alcohol when we're out of the sea because everybody on the sea drinks a lot of rum because other bits of beverages go bad really fast out on the sea, and rum doesn't. So we drink a lot of rum, which we get from an inn we own. We own the stronghold near the dock. We own a few boats, and we have access to a lot of like free ship repair because all we do in these docks is like spread the word of Alvaroth, and everybody's like scared of that. And when we need somebody to repair our ship, we just tell them, repair our freaking ship. So we can offer ship repairs to people because the dock workers are scared of Alvaroth if they don't, right? Resources. I can roll a d6 minus, d6, ignore a 6. That's a 6. Again, a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 10 to 14 number of cult buildings. We have 3 drops of resources, and we have 1d4 minus 1 resource, which is 1 number of special resources. Okay, special resources. Let's say we have special resources. Oh, these are cool. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see. That's a tree. We have ingredients. Natural ingredients such as dried plants and animal parts can be used to create poisons, potions, and other consumables. Could make sense because we are near a dock and we might have like a monopoly, like there might be a shipping company that ships in natural ingredients that pays like some kind of customs to us in order for us telling them like you need to give this to Alvaroth or otherwise Alvaroth will swallow you whole when you're out on the sea, and they start giving us these ingredients and these animal parts and stuff like that. Stuff that comes in the dock, part of that goes to us, the Cult of Alvaroth. Cool story. I like it. I really like it. There are defenses, there are goals, there is an origin. As you can see, it's still making sense. I don't know, I might be doing this a second time, it might not make sense, but that's the thing. It is a random rolling table. You can also pick and choose your stuff, or you can try to have it make sense, or just roll again if you really can't have it to make sense. So there's more rolling tables, but I'm not going to stretch this out too much. Power sources, as you can see, weaknesses and secrets, but there's also an entire part. Oh, there's a cult name generator. Let's just try this, right? Let's just roll a d20 3 times. A d20, which is a 7. Devotees. Then I'm rolling again, which is an 8. Devotees, and then you can combine this, by the way, they're saying, with of the, for, from the, against, for, the, with. So devotees of the, let's say, glorious 12. Glorious silence, nothing, or null. Devotees of the glorious silence. So my cult of Alvaroth is called the Devotees of the Glorious Silence. It's cool if you're really going the random route, but doesn't make sense right now, right? Cult members, they have a complete section on creating your cult leader. So this might be interesting to try out. Let's roll a d10, which is a 6. Lean and little with corded muscles beneath their clothes. Okay, so we have this lean person who has body details. Another 10. A body fused with an item. Okay, like an amulet embedded. Oh, they have like an amulet of Alvaroth embedded in their chest. So she's like Iron Man, right? It's just embedded in their chest. An amulet, boom. It's just... And Alvaroth is constantly working into them. Their attire, you can roll for their attire. Their personality, let's roll for their personality. A 9. Bookish, studious, quiet, intellectual. Cool, that's cool. So there's this person who is lean, he wears robes, but he has a naked chest, and in that chest is this amulet. But this person rarely speaks, and he speaks with a soft voice, and he's constantly reading the book, the Bible of Alvaroth, so to speak. Wow. Yeah. I'm not going to do this completely because there's a lot going on here, but as you can see, there is this entire system that you can just sit down with this book, you grab yourself a handful of dice, and you can create your own cult, like in extreme detail from this system. And there is so much more to talk about from this book because it is filled to the brim with useful content. Like, for example, all of the 10 pre-written cults in here all have their own stronghold that is completely mapped out in this crazy map art, which is really cool to use in your game on your table. Also, there's an entire system for your players to actually run a cult, from like recruitment, creating items, codes. There's an entire infernal item creation guide. There is a bunch of infernal items, IDs that you can use in your game, and there's so much more. And I haven't read this cover to cover yet because I just didn't have the time yet. But as a matter of fact, this goes on holiday with me next week, so I might be doing another video just explaining another few things that I found in here that are really, no pun intended, remarkable. Until next video, bye bye.